The Tube is a space that I really love to be in. Standing on platforms late at night with lots of other people who are chatting and singing, I think that makes it quite a special space. I'm Helen Cammock. I'm an artist. I work in film, photography, installation and performance. So as an artist, I'm quite motivated to make work that on some level is trying to open up discussion, open up dialogue. It's really important to me that conversations can be had, whether that's internal conversations in your own mind or whether it's conversations between people, and public spaces are really quite important spaces for that to happen. So when Art on the Underground approached me for this commission, I was kind of really excited about the prospect of having work in a space that's a really interesting space to navigate. So I suppose one of the things about the pandemic that feels slightly unnerving is that the underground feels like a completely different landscape. There's something about sitting in a tube carriage where there might only be 3 people in the tube that is incredibly unnerving. And so the opportunity to make work that reflects on some of those changes and asks questions, even if nobody's going to answer them, they might sit and look at them and think about some of the changes that have happened over the last, I guess, 18 months or so. And so Sit Alongside and Feel Me Breathe was a work that was thinking about the notion of breath, I suppose, in crisis. So the idea of the crisis of the pandemic, the crisis of the Black Lives Matter movement, and also the kind of growing concerns and activism around the breath of the earth. So there were these notions that were about breathing that I wanted to talk about. And initially it was just one piece of work. And then there was quite a lot of anxiety about me making a work that focused on breath. And so the thinking was that, well, actually, maybe I can make 2 other works and kind of contextualize some of the conversation that I want to have, which is actually about empathy. So the text on the other 2 works are The Edge is Never Still, and that work is about the feeling of both being on the edge and acknowledging and recognizing our own edge. So there's something about the human edge. There's the idea of being on the edge, people talking about how that's shifted and changed over the past year for many, many people as things have got harder and harder. And then the relationship, I suppose, to the idea of the platform and the space of travel and transience and movement. So there's this interrelationship, which is about something ever moving. So whether it's within us or whether it's in the kind of architecture of the spaces that we inhabit, it's about this kind of permeable, moving space. The other work is Glass Distortions Don't Impair My View, Merely Change It. And that is about how our experiences change and shift how we view both ourselves, other people, and the situations that we find ourselves in. And of course, that for me is also about the idea of being underground and looking through glass that does have distortions, reflections, kind of glass that is rounded. So things change and shift, and as you're moving in space on the tube, what you see changes and shifts incredibly quickly. So we've walked through 3 or 4 different stations, and we've seen the work different scales, different sizes, in different parts of stations, and there's something really surprising actually at how differently the work feels, depending on where it's sited, depending on how the station feels, how busy it is. But I'm really excited to see it up and in a space with so many people, so many different people going past it every day, whether that's commuting, whether that's on trips. There's something about being in a kind of moving, active, live realm that's completely different from a gallery space. So yeah, I'm really happy with it.